Okay, and what about any sort of other highlights from you? Is there anything else that you want to mention?
Just seeing people again.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right?
Hello and welcome to the Craft Therapist channel. I'm Richard Simon. This talk is a roundup of the recent KubeCon and CloudNativeCon North America 2021 conference. And I have the pleasure of welcoming back Bill Mulligan from the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. That's the CNCF. I don't think we need a long introduction to Bill because he's really becoming a bit of a regular on the Cloud Therapist channel. But I will greet him and say hello and welcome him to the channel again. So, Bill, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me again.
Excellent. Good to have you back. So, yeah, just a quick update from you then. How was sort of KubeCon North America for you?
It was awesome. Yeah, being the first time I've been in person, I guess since 2019, and most people have too. It was really cool to see people in person, but also as a hybrid event, interact with the people online and provide accessibility to people all around the world. So it was cool to see people in person. It was cool to see people virtually. And I think that's the fun part about conferences, right? They bring us all together. And that's really what KubeCon CloudNativeCon was for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it was good that it was back in person again this time around, which is fantastic. So, what did you kind of just give us a quick highlight of what you got up to during the conference?
What didn't I get up to? It was basically running around all week. Yeah, lots of different things. Attending a few talks actually, which I usually don't in the past.
So you got a chance this time. That's good.
Yeah, I got a chance because there's no booth duty at the CNCF. You know, if it's your own conference, you don't have to have a booth. So that was fun to actually be in person and see some talks and chat with people. One of my highlights was actually meeting all the members of my team. I've been working with them for over a year now, and this is the first time I met in person. I guess big comment from all of them was that apparently I'm taller than they all thought I was. So yeah,
interesting. Okay, yes, I guess that's the kind of thing you probably end up realizing once you start meeting people in person. We've already had an impression of them online, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so what you kind of just apart from KubeCon, of course, what else have you kind of been up to since the last time we spoke?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing I've been working on since then is one, the Kubernetes community days, two, Cloud Native TV, and three, kind of like our student stuff, and four is really around like telco and some of our strategic growth areas. So been trying to stay busy.
Absolutely, yeah, that sounds like a full on full on sort of period and schedule there for you. Fantastic. Okay, so let's just dive straight into some highlights from the conference. Do you have any? I know we're kind of at the time of the recording of this is kind of the numbers haven't sort of officially come out yet, but do you have any sort of prelim numbers in terms of the conference and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. So in total, there was 23,146 attendees, and of those, 66% were first-time attendees. Wow. 158 median analysts, 12 co-located events hosted by CNCF, and 17 more by sponsors. In terms of the CFPs, there's 976 CFP submissions, 68 main trainer track sessions, 21 keynotes, and 136 breakouts. So lots of talks all across the conference. For the in-person side, there was 3,531 attendees. And on the virtual side, this has 19,633 attendees. So a real mix. The biggest countries in person were US, India, and US, Israel, and Canada. And for virtual, it was US, India, and Canada. Wow. Kind of interesting info there too.
Yeah, that's always an interesting one to see kind of where the biggest attendance is. I guess obviously this being sort of the North American sort of event, as you obviously get kind of a lot more from people in the local time zone for that. Excellent. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there was obviously a lot of sort of topics, and we're not going to be able to kind of cover them all here, but certainly there were sort of a number of highlights. I think that that's kind of happened and were announced during the at the conference itself. So I think there was like a Kubernetes associate exam announced. So that's kind of the first time that you've kind of had a more of a sort of an entry level sort of exam. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I know Katie has been working really hard on that with a great team of ambassadors and other people around the community. And I think they've done a great job. It's a multiple choice exam and kind of an entry level certification for people that are just showing interest in the cloud native industry.
Sure, cool. And also you have some scholarships as well around for students and kind of diversity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this has been one of our really greatest growth areas this year is really the student scholarship. We offered student scholarships to over 2,000 students all around the world. So I think it's really cool to bring kind of like a new demographic into KubeCon and providing more energy and new contributors into the ecosystem too. So I think it's going to be exciting to kind of see how that program grows and evolves going forwards.
Sure. I also kind of picked up on another sort of topic was around security as well. This kind of shift left approach, kind of becoming more of a standard, and I guess it's kind of trying to integrate security earlier in the software development lifecycle and throughout as well. And that's kind of probably more of a sort of a governance approach, I guess, to having security as part of that. I also picked up around sort of, and this kind of, I guess, kind of really been a bit of a theme over the last sort of 12 months, is where vendors are kind of doing a lot more work around managing Kubernetes clusters that are not just multiple clusters, but actually having multi-vendor, so multi sort of platform management as well. Did you detect on that as well? Was there kind of discussions around that?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're seeing more integration across the vendors. It seems like every single day, every vendor is adding a partner or two. So I think that's the cool thing about Kubernetes. It provides a standardized base platform. So vendors and different companies can interoperate and work together.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I did one of the recent videos I did was with Kubernetes, which is a German-based startup around Kubernetes, and they did a demo, and the demo actually included them actually managing from their platform, managing multiple clusters and multiple environments. So yeah, so if viewers actually are interested in looking at a little bit more detail, check out the Kubernetes demo that I have on the channel as well. That would be something to look at. I also picked up around cloud native TVs. That's kind of got up and running as well. And that's where's the kind of the outlet for that? Where do you guys sort of broadcast on that?
Yeah, so that's a really cool program of a bunch of show hosts from the community, all streaming on Twitch. So a new platform for CNCF. And I guess the interesting thing there is just a variety of different shows. So there's a game show, a one-on-one show, a getting started contributing show, talking about like different geographies, a show for students. So there's lots of great stuff on the CNCF Twitch channel.
Cool. Yeah, and I think they were also doing a sort of a daily roundup as well. I think of each day of the conference, which I thought was quite good. I think that was a great idea. So yeah, just kind of list out some other sort of highlights for you that were of interest from the conference, Bill. What else did you kind of get up? Not just kind of presentations and stuff, but also just kind of discussions and things like that. What were sort of highlights for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I think another big announcement that Priyanka talked about was the launch of the Cloud Credits program. And so this is important for all of our projects. CNCF now has 114 under its umbrella. The question is, right, they need to run different types of tests to make sure the project works across multiple platforms, multiple providers, and how can they do that? And this new program provides a way for companies to provide credits so that different projects can test out if their products work across multiple different platforms and be able to grow and develop their project too. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how that project grows overall. Beyond that, I think it was I mean everyone that I talked to loved being back in person. I think that was really the biggest highlight for myself and also for everyone else too.
Cool. Yeah, I guess that's probably going to be a bit of a running theme for a while.
Yeah,
to
right.
kind of get used to seeing people again. It's almost kind of a new concept, considering the last sort of 18 months to 2 years when people have just been online. So absolutely. Okay, cool. So let's kind of dive into some of the actual sort of talks and presentations that happened. So which kind of presentations did you enjoy? Which ones did you actually manage to attend? You said that you managed to attend a few this year, which is good. And what was kind of informative, and what did you learn?
Yeah, definitely. There's two really big highlights for me outside of the keynotes, because I don't know if I can count them in the same category. Number one was from Alan and Tabitha, and it was called Beyond Kubernetes Security. You saw their talk at the last conference where they created like a whole like video montage.
Yeah.
This one is like made that one look like child's play. Like this was really like a next level production that I have no clue how much time they put into it, but it was spectacular. Like if you watch one talk from the show, I would recommend that one, just because the production value is incredible. The other one I really liked was Liz Rice's introduction to eBPF. I know that's another really growing topic. There's also a Cloud Native eBPF co-located event, and so I think this is going to be a really big topic going forwards. And I think it'll be interesting to kind of like learn about a new technology. So if you want to dive into something new, I can also recommend that one.
Cool. Yeah, Liz is an absolute hero of mine. So I'd love to get her on the channel at some point. So Liz, if you're watching this, if there's any remote channel, any remote opportunity or chance that you're watching this, yeah, I'd love to have you on. But yeah, I mean, I think that's I think the production value seems to be going up almost at every KubeCon with those those great sort of production ones that you're doing with all the filming and stuff. And who was that? I can't remember. It was probably a couple of conferences ago that kind of really started the ball rolling.
Justin Garrison.
Justin, that's it. Yeah.
He did the one about essentially creating Disney Plus, because he used to work at Disney.
Right.
Right. To do that, and created a video about creating a video. So.
Yeah. I think we covered that. Yeah, I think we we discussed that briefly. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think highlights for me in terms of the talks. I didn't get a chance to see that one actually, so I am looking forward to doing that, and a whole sort of bunch of other ones that I really missed out on because I was quite busy working, so it was difficult to do that. But yeah, I mean, I picked up on the I think HashiCorp did a sort of a multi-cloud demo with Terraform. That was really cool, and again, kind of goes towards that theme of multi-cloud and sort of multi-platform sort of deployments and management. The concept of sort of air-gapped Kubernetes clusters. Can you explain a little bit more about that, Bill?
Yeah, so those are clusters that aren't accessible from the public internet. This is going to be in various different industries. Usually one's concerned about like data privacy and data security. So companies like financial services or telecommunications, where they don't want other people kind of diving into their hardware, so they disconnect it from the public internet.
Cool. Yeah, I thought that was. I think there was a a running theme of that, and again, I've picked that up as a sort of a sort of technology offering and service offering as well from various vendors. My old employer IBM was actually there as well, so they did a session on day one, which is around, I think it was called "Learn How to Build Your Next Application with Kube, Istio, and Watson Services." So that was quite interesting to see them actually sort of getting more engaged in this space, and actually doing a sort of a talk as well. That was quite good. WebAssembly, I think that the kind of the theme for WASM sort of continued as well. And again, we kind of saw a little bit of coverage of that earlier this year, and I think you and I kind of talked about it as a hot topic. Do you think the technology for that has kind of moved on significantly since we last time sort of covered it?
Yeah, so there's actually been quite a few projects coming into the CNCF sandbox around WebAssembly, like one of them being Crosslit, which allows you to run, it kind of like replaces the kubelet and allows you to run WASM binaries instead of containers using Kubernetes. So I think the field is progressing, still obviously new, but definitely one to watch along with eBPF.
Cool. Yeah. So move over containers, right? That's getting replaced.
Yeah,
we're going to be talking about that next time, right? Excellent. Yeah, and I also did pick up there was I think a Cloud Native WASM Day as well, which was quite interesting. So that's all kind of certainly seems to be growing from strength to going from strength to strength. Also, the other kind of sort of running theme that I picked up on, you may kind of want to elaborate on, was Kubernetes itself was kind of almost sort of well, it's kind of reached it's kind of reached maturity. A lot of people are obviously using it in, in production environments now. So that's kind of almost a given now. But the top topics I really picked up were sort of around the Kubernetes ecosystem. So a lot of sort of diversification around its security, as we said, we just mentioned air-gapped sort of deployments, the data and storage aspect of it. And again, as we said earlier as well, sort of multi-cloud cluster management, so multi-cloud, multi-cluster management as well. Those seem to be all topics in themselves this time around as well, whereas it was still sort of Kubernetes kind of, discussions, over the last conference, but now we're kind of, diversified a bit more. Do you think, did you see that as well?
Yeah, definitely. As Kelsey Hightower always says, we want to make Kubernetes boring. And I think we're starting to see that because the exciting stuff now is these more complex use cases that you're going into for Kubernetes. And beyond just Kubernetes, like I said before, CNCF now has 114 projects under its umbrella. So there's so much more to cloud native than just Kubernetes.
Sure, absolutely. And obviously the CNCF has a huge responsibility around shepherding all those projects, not just Kubernetes, but Linkerd and all the other ones that have obviously all sort of matured recently as well. So anything else from you, Bill, that was kind of interesting? Any other sort of presentations and talks?
It was cool just to run around the sponsor showcase and see kind of the new companies, like all the ones you've been seeing for years, but also new ones coming onto the scene too. And I think it'd be interesting to see, I always love running through there to see, kind of what are the hot topics, what are the people that are sponsoring it doing, and what new companies are popping up right now. The really big one right now is about supply chain security and the people at ChainGuard that are doing stuff around SigStore. So we'll kind of see how that all develops too.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I think you guys do an annual report, and obviously in that you kind of talk about all the new sponsors and people who've kind of organizations have kind of jumped on to become members of the CNCF community as well. So yeah, maybe that's something we can kind of certainly cover going forward. But that's all, yeah, absolutely excellent to see so much backing happening, and really sort of vendors, IT vendors, and technologies kind of from many different walks of the sort of the industry, all giving the CNCF backing, and also being present at the KubeCon conference as well. So yes, that's, I think, all very much goodness. So obviously we can't, we're not going to be able to cover everything here. This is just really a sort of a highlight talk of some of the activities. So I appreciate you kind of going through that with me. There were also some fun stuff as well. So things like the KubeCon Battlesnake Cup finals, I think, which was quite interesting. I did watch that on Cloud Native TV on Twitch as well. So that was quite interesting to see that. We'll let the viewers kind of maybe explore that a little bit more. Won't go into the details of that, but suffice to say that people were encouraged to write their own sort of code for their own sort of so-called snake, and then sort of API. The Battlesnake sort of platform has its own API, and you could use that API to to get your snake to compete with other people's snakes as well. So that was that was quite interesting. Okay, so yeah, I think that's kind of pretty much really covers all the sort of the main highlights. So yeah, so Bill, thank you very much again for coming on and going through that with me. So obviously all of the content and all the videos are going to be available from you guys, I think, fairly shortly. So at the time of the recording, I think the date that I had was 29th of October 2021. That's kind of when you're going to be releasing all the videos. That'll be on YouTube. All the usual kind of channels will be covering that. Excellent. Yeah. So anything else that obviously people want to go and explore is the website is the cncf.io. I presume all the details can be seen on that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. Okay. Well, it just kind of leads me to thank you again, Bill, for coming on. Great to see you again. Great to talk to you. And yeah, hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Thank you for watching this talk. If you enjoyed the content, please comment, share, like, and subscribe. See you next time.